here you are. It's 2016 and you are at the top of your game and you are exploding with creativity. You have people around the world, I know that about you. In how many countries? 14 last count?
I don't even know.
You don't even
know
a lot of countries.
Yeah.
So he is an international mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is, how did you become a mentor yourself? Could you just spend a little bit of time talking about who mentored you?
Yeah.
Who were the people, if you can maybe mention 2 or 3 or even 4, people that come to your mind that we can actually pay tribute right here and now today, who made you what you are today and who you are today?
Yeah. I mean, mentoring is an interesting thing. There's mentoring on purpose and being mentored on purpose, and then there's also mentoring by default. What I've come to realize is that some of my greatest mentors, some of the ones that have had the greatest impact over me, at the time seemed like not my allies but my enemies.
Interesting.
Growing up, I didn't see my father as a mentor, but he had his agenda and what he was trying to instill in me. And only when I became a father and began to understand what he was going through and what he was trying to do, and seeing how much that experience and me pushing against it and that whole challenge and struggle, like the way the river, is roaring over the stones and making them smooth over time, that really refined me in a lot of very powerful ways. So I've come to really appreciate. I'd always known my mother was a very important role in my life, but I didn't realize just how important a role my father was. And parents are kind of the first mentors in a way.
Yes, they are. Could we just have their names, please?
Oh, yes, Neil and Sandra.
Neil and Sandra.
Yes.
Rydall.
Yes, Rydall. And, but for me, a mentor is somebody who is willing to see you and see who you are even beyond your stories of yourself, and see you even beyond the conditioning you've been through, and help to hold a space that creates the conditions, regardless of, in the emergence work, it's all about understanding that in the seed there's already a perfect pattern. And when the conditions match the pattern in the seed, that which is inherent, its potential, begins to emerge. No matter what the seed has been through, if it hasn't been planted for years, when it's planted and the conditions are right, the soil can't say, I'm sorry, you come from a long line of seeds that never amounted to much. It has to grow the seed. And so a mentor, as I've begun to understand, a mentor, and we learn this as practitioners.
Yes.
Our job as a practitioner is when someone comes in, no matter what they've been through, no matter what they're going through, no matter what they think about themselves, our job is to see beyond that and hold the space of their own perfection and that potential. And so one of the people that, I had teachers along the way that did that, but I would say one of the biggest really life-changing mentors was Nirvana Gale.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Reverend Nirvana
Nirvana
Gale
Gale
has been here in the Cafe of Dreams.
Okay, well, my mentors have probably all been here in the cafe. But Nirvana took me as a young boy who had been, I was a young kid then. I really was. And I had all kinds of stuff going on. And I was very self-centered, and I was, good-hearted, but just full of myself and full of just my baggage and all the reasons and limitations. And he would just sit with me, hour after hour, and I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it, but that's the one thing,
We bless him.
Yeah, he would just hold the space.
He holds the space.
And he would just know the truth about who I really was until I could know it for myself. And to me, that's the most powerful thing that a mentor can give you, is they hold the space. They create the deep diving suit, the space suit, for you to have the oxygen, even when you're in an environment that doesn't seem to have a lot of oxygen. You're gasping for air. And they hold that space until you can breathe easy again. And I remember walking in, I'd be having all my problems, and I would just look in his eyes. And in the reflection in his eyes, I would see who I really was. And all of that would just fall away. And I would sit there and I could have all of my stuff, and he would just hold the space without judgment, without any baggage. And this is equally important, he would also, he was more invested in my coming to my full potential than liking him.
Oh, beautifully said.
So he would hold the space, and he would push back when I was playing small. He would push back when I wasn't willing to go for, and I was stuck in my story, to shatter those crystallized beliefs, where a lot of people wouldn't, because they want to be liked, they want to be accepted. But a mentor, as he taught me, is so invested in your growth, in your potential, that they're willing for you to even walk away and hate them, but then realize days, weeks, months later, oh my God, thank you for telling me the truth. And so he taught me that. And he also was so just generous and patient, and he was the first person that instilled in me really the model for what it means to serve and to hold a person so unconditionally.
Well, his life is all in service, and what a great role model.
Yeah.
He is so service became a quality that you embraced beyond probably your core value, isn't it not? Is it not? Service.
Yeah, absolutely. My core values are awakening to my true nature and serving others to awaken to theirs. And he definitely instilled that, and he instilled it at such a ground level. That's the key. The one thing that I love about that analogy of them going up the mountain and just reaching down and pulling someone up and reach up is, you notice a lot of times when we think about being mentors and helping and serving, we often think we have to do big things, or we have to be on the mountaintop in order to be credible enough to be a mentor. But if you're walking along, if you're going up that mountain, it's the person that's just a couple steps below you.
That's it.
If you're walking along and somebody falls in a ditch and you're just one arm's length above them, you are the most important person in their life.
Excellent point.
So when I began to understand that, because I didn't think, well, what do I have to offer? How can I really serve? I'm not Nirvana or Michael Beckwith or whoever. But I began to recognize that, it's like the 3-year-old or however old you are when you learn to tie shoes. Let's say you're 3, I really don't know. But the 2-year and 11-month-year-old that has not yet learned it, you might only be a month older, but you're the master, you're the mentor. And it's important for people that want to serve, that want to be of help in the world, to know that you don't have to be on a mountaintop. You just have to be an arm's length away. And you are, in that moment, really valuable to that person. So that really helped, me ground that with Nirvana. And of course, Michael Beckwith was, he taught me how to serve in an even bigger way.
Right.
And to not just be a mentor one-to-one, but to be a mentor one-to-many. Mm-hmm. And how to hold the space, because that's a whole nother level of surrender, of, when you're now in the public eye.
Yes.
How do you be authentic and a transparency, and you have to surrender your life even more deeply to be a mentor at that level, because you're not at that level.
Your life isn't your own in a way.
It's not your own anymore. Mm-hmm. You're right, and people are going to mediocrity always attacks excellence, and you have to begin to dig deeper. Like Einstein said, arrows of hate have been shot in my direction many times, but they no longer touch me because they come from a world that I no longer inhabit. So there's a growth process, as a mentorship. But I would say those two were my biggest. There's been many, and I don't want to leave any names out, but they were my biggest mentors. And then, of course, in a deeper esoteric way, Jesus,
yes,
Buddha, Joel Goldsmith.
Yes.
These are some deep mystics and teachers that have been very, very powerful mentors for me.